Sana. How are
Hi,
you,
good
hon?
afternoon.
How are
Good
you?
afternoon.
Great.
Welcome everybody to another episode of You Need to Know with Hussein and Nofila. We have another great show here for you today on selling your house with lots of information. Take it away, Nofila.
All right, let's sell some houses. We've had a lot of listings this past few months, and we have a few more coming. So the first question is usually,
Before we get to questions,
yeah,
I got
go
to
ahead.
brag a little bit, Nofila.
Go ahead.
What an amazing week I just had.
Tell
Just
us.
had a big announcement. I don't want to get into that, but if you need more information on my huge announcement, contact me. Two great closings, two listings. I got one coming soon, a 4 bedroom, 3.5 bath, beautiful home. That's probably going to hit the market probably midweek next week. And again, like I said, this is a huge week for me. Last night was amazing. What did you think?
I loved last night
Oh my
personally.
God.
I
All day
yeah.
long, the fella's like, why are you making a big deal out of this? Why are you making a big deal out of this? The Dearborn
But
Lions,
you
my
didn't
little
know that I
babies.
knew though.
I did not know that you knew, and I was definitely
Yes.
surprised. Uh, the Dearborn Lions, that's the junior football program. It's a feeder program that feeds all three of our high schools and some high schools out of the city in Dearborn, out of Dearborn. Been around for 26 years, and I was there from day one. So last night they presented the new jerseys. They were beautiful, and they almost made me cry by giving me a jersey for
No, they
my own.
actually made you cry.
I'm the Aaron Fayad, come on now. Don't supposed to be a tough guy.
Right.
So no, I had an amazing time. Thank you to former President Tim Sullivan and current President Mike Mitlid. That was a class act. I got a lot of respect for you guys and what you're doing. And speaking of the new uniforms, I will be at homecoming this weekend, tonight, tomorrow, and
Mhm.
Sunday. I've only advertised that I'm going to sell the Dearborn Lions jerseys. That's blue and silver
Yeah.
for the old timers. If you played in the early days, until we just had one Dearborn Lions team, your own jersey that you wore will be available. I'll be at homecoming. Come find me. I also have jerseys almost like brand new. The Pioneer ones are brand new. The
Yeah.
Dearborn Tractors, the Dearborn Thunderbirds, and the Dearborn Pioneers. I'm letting the secret out right now. Those uniforms will be out. You don't have to have played for the junior program to buy a jersey. You could be on the team right now, or your brother might be on the team and you want to wear his number. Come see me. If you want me to reserve a number, contact me at 313-580-8007, or you can contact Nufaila at 313-443-7443.
So we will be living at homecoming this weekend. But you
Yes.
didn't say why it was so special yesterday. The new youth football jerseys are dedicated to Hussein Berry.
Yes.
They actually have his initials. So when you see the youth football players around, look at their shoulder and it has HB on it. He called it on his social media honored and blessed, but it actually says
Yes.
you are
Oh,
honored
you
and
know
blessed.
what? I never thought about that. That's not what I meant.
No.
No,
Oh,
my initials
are
are on the
HB.
jerseys.
Yes.
I did say honors and blessed.
Oh,
Should I just take credit for that,
yeah.
Nufaila?
Go ahead. Take credit for it. We're all good.
HB,
All right.
Hussein Berry, honored and blessed. I've always been honored and blessed, alhamdulillah. Yes, the jerseys are beautiful. Let's support our junior program, Dearborn Lions. Let's support all of our young people and everything they do, baseball, basketball, theater. This is a great area, Dearborn Heights, Downriver, Detroit. We're blessed with many opportunities for our young people to excel. All right, let's sell some houses,
All right. Let's
Nufaila.
get back to real estate. So you took us off track for a second there.
It's all
So
right.
selling your house. What do you do first when you want to sell your house, right? You have one of two paths. And we're going to talk about both. You can either hire a realtor or go through the what we call FSBO track, which is for sale by owner. And why don't you tell us a little bit about for sale by
Yeah,
owner?
let's get that out of the way first. For sale by owner. It's like, okay, I own my house, and there might be a lot of reasons that I want to market my house on my own. I guess a big reason, which I respect, I don't have that much equity in my house. By the time I sell it, I'm not going to be left with what I need to move.
Right.
So I might want to save the commission. Uh, and that's what's probably that's a reason that I do respect. The other reason is maybe I've had bad experience with realtors. That happens sometimes, and we acknowledge that. Nobody's perfect. Somebody maybe got burned working with a realtor that's not so professional, even though I would say 97% of my industry are professional, knowledgeable realtors. All of my colleagues do a great job. So there are a lot of reasons to fail. And what happens with a for sale by owner, they put they go to Home Depot or Target or somebody, and they get a sign and they stick it in front and put their personal phone number on there, and guess what happens?
They get a million phone
They
calls.
get a million phone calls
Yeah.
because guess what? When you try to market your house, the buyers out there are very clever. They know you're trying to save a little commission or trying to do it on your own, and they try to take advantage of you. All of a sudden, you're getting phone calls, you get overwhelmed, and at that point, most for sale by owners end up calling a professional realtor. Now, there are some that don't, and they go through the process.
Yeah.
And they realize that you have to get a title company involved.
Yes.
And they realize that there's a state law that you kind of have to follow the law, and you have to fill out a seller disclosure statement.
Right.
Like, what's that? And they start calling us and ask us all these information.
Right,
and
right.
You know what? And that's no problem. You're welcome to call us. We'll be more than happy to give you the information on seller disclosure statements, agency disclosure, lead-based paid disclosure. We'll get to this a little bit later on in the show about the city inspection. Oh, I got to get a city inspection, especially in the Dearborn Heights area. So
because it's a requirement here.
It is a requirement, yes. I strongly recommend you work with a professional agent. It'll just make your life easier. Now, there are many times we get the phone calls after the fact.
Right.
Boy, some get screwed up. It just like breaks my heart sometimes what happens. I had a, I haven't had a chance to get into my stories here.
No, so go ahead. Give us a story.
This gentleman bought a house. I believe it was in the Michigan, Wyoming area, Porras. He says, "Oh, I bought it from a for sale by owner." I'm like, "Oh, okay, good, congratulations." What a nightmare it was. It was a house that was condemned by the city. The seller sold it to him cash. There was a title policy made, but there was no city inspection done. And he started remodeling the house after he paid $100,000 for the house cash. He starts remodeling the house, and he's got material being delivered to the house. And the inspector was driving by, and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
Right.
And he approached the owner and told him, "What's going on?" He says, "Oh, I'm remodeling the house." No permits, because nobody educated him. There was no city inspection. There was no certificate of occupancy or letter in lieu of. So this guy pretty much lost big money.
Yeah.
He ended up selling that house for maybe pennies on the dollar just to move on with his life. So yeah, buyers and sellers. I respect the fact that you might want to try to save a few dollars by not using a professional. That's like, trying to go to court without a lawyer, right? I mean, I would never do that, no matter if it's just I don't get too many traffic tickets, but if it's a traffic ticket or, if you're out there and you have something major, do not go to court with a lawyer.
But what about the people that say, well, we don't need to do all that. We'll just quickly deed the house to the buyer.
Big mistake. The buyer, that's a big liability. Let's leave it at that. Now, there are some for sale by owners that get a lawyer involved.
Okay.
Which, that's a good thing. That's fair enough. But then you turn around, you're paying a lawyer fees. And I love my lawyer friends, but you know what lawyers do? They stall things. They charge you by the hour.
Repeat that. We love our lawyer friends.
We do love our lawyer friends.
Thank you.
And our future lawyers.
Yes. Okay. So we skipped the FSBO. Somebody tried a FSBO and they decided they couldn't do it. And I've had people call and say, you know what? I've had my house on the market for sale by owner for 2 weeks. Please get me out of this. Come list it. I don't want to get another phone call. And we do take over. Now, when they do call us and they decide that they're going to hire us, what's the process there? What's the first step?
Well, first step, I always recommend a walkthrough. Matter of fact, I did one this morning.
Right.
Do a walkthrough. It was so cute. Senior seller. She kept on saying, "I got to clean the house. I got to clean the house." The house was spotless.
Yeah.
Spotless.
Yeah.
Like, you walk in, you don't have to do anything, but she wanted to clean the house, and I gave her. So do a quick walkthrough with your realtor. You probably want to be able to answer questions. How old is the roof? When did you update that kitchen? When did you update those windows? What about the furnace and the central air? Those are your big ticket items that buyers are concerned about. They don't want to, buy a house and end up spending, $10, $15, $20,000. So if you have that information ready,
Yeah,
declutter the house.
absolutely.
Declutter the house. I've walked into houses where I was like, thought I was back on running hurdles at Salina Junior High School. Yes, I'm that old, but declutter the house is very, very important. I've had people maybe rent a storage unit, or I've had people take everything out of the house and stick it in the garage. Okay, a little better, but that's not good. So if things are, you have something in your current house that you're not going to move to the new house, get rid of it. Donate it to somebody, sell it, just, get past it. Uh, and I'm feeling the vibes from the left here because every time I move stuff with me, and that's a
Yeah,
whole different story.
yeah. So when it comes to decluttering, it's not just about getting rid of things that you don't need or no longer want or not using. And I have a rule for that. If I haven't touched it in 6 months, it goes. It's also about allowing a buyer to feel like they're walking into a place that could become their home. So remove your personal items, put away your jewelry, put away family photos, put away family heirlooms. Allow this buyer to come through and look around and see as much clear space as possible, because you want them to say, I can picture myself sitting in front of that window reading a book, or I can picture myself cooking a meal for my family in here. Believe it or not, your stuff, if you're selling a house while you're occupying it, your stuff is very distracting. People don't really get to see the house. And I've had instances where I've had to take a buyer to a house again after they saw it the first time because they couldn't picture themselves in there because there were so many things laying around the house. So that's a very, very good idea. And when it comes to decluttering, I've advised clients before to make 3 piles or 3 boxes. This is something I want. I'm not willing to get rid of it no matter what. This is something I love, but it doesn't serve a purpose in my life anymore. And this is something I'm willing to donate. Now, the things that you love and don't serve a purpose in your life anymore, what's always worked for me is taking a photo of every item for the client. And sometimes we end up doing that. We end up helping the clients get through, some of these items. There was a family where I took photos of furniture that was built by their great grandfather. And we created a photo album and then donated the furniture to families. So
Wow.
that was a very nice resolution for them, and they were still able to remember the items. So we decluttered the house. Now, of
Do you
course,
want do you want to translate that, please, on decluttering the house, because that's very important.
oh in Arabic, okay.
Yeah, please.
فلما عم نبيع بيت بيكون عندنا اشياء كتير، مرات بنكون قاعدين بالبيت 30 40 سنه وبيتنا مليان اغراض لانه بنشتري وبنحط، واوقات بيكون في اشياء بنحبها ان كان هي فرنتشر، عفش بيت او صحون زياده او اشياء بنحبها بس ما عم نستعملها. فنصيحتنا كانت انه اللي عنده هيك اغراض انه خلص بنحبها كتير ومش قادرين نخسرها وما عم نستعملها، بنحط 3 boxes. اول صندوق هو الاشياء اللي بنحبها ورح نضل نستعملها، وثاني صندوق هي الاشياء اللي بنحبها ومش داقرينها من اكثر من سنه سنتين ثلاثه، وثالث باكس هو الاشياء اللي رح نتبرع فيها. الاشياء اللي بنحبها ومش داقرينها بنصورها وبنعمل فوتو ألبوم صور وبنحتفظ فيه وبنتبرع بالاشياء خلي حدا تاني يستفيد منه.
Yes, yes. And I want to go back to the point what you said, Nofila, earlier, that decluttering doesn't mean you're throwing stuff away. Sometimes I walk into a dining room, there's this big, beautiful table, a big china cabinet, then there's another piece of furniture in the corner, stuff like that. And somebody walks into that, even though it's like a giant dining room, somebody walks in and just, they don't see the room.
Right.
It's like they forget that they was in a dining room because they're
شايفين
looking
أغراضنا.
at everything else. So yeah, dining room, you need to have a table there, and if it's a nice china cabinet in the corner someplace, that's fine. Everything else needs to go.
خلي المشتري يتخيل نفسه بالبيت، لأنه عم نبيع خلص طلع من عنا، عم نخلي
Yeah,
حدا تاني يحس نفسه فيه.
yeah.
Okay, moving on. أهم شغلة للبايع وللمشتري هي المصاري. What is the process? What does it cost to sell a house?
Sure. I don't look at it as a cost. That's part of your investment. So obviously, there are some things that are expenses, and one of them being the title policy. Title policy, and that's a whole different show by itself. Title policy is an expense for a seller. You have to provide the buyer with a warranty deed, and behind that warranty deed is a title policy, making sure there's no
Yeah.
liens, there's no tax lien on the seller. I just had one where because it was a common name, there was somebody out there that owes state taxes,
Yeah.
and it wasn't his, so we had to provide the social security number and the correct spelling of his name and ID, and we cleared that up. But make sure there's no liens, there's no back taxes. Actually, water bills.
Yeah.
Sometimes in Detroit,
Right.
I've seen water bills as high as $18,000. I don't know why
Right.
the city would keep.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways,
We can't really shut off water.
yeah,
but
I know. But yeah, you want to make sure it's a clean title, and that you have to give the buyer a clean policy.
Yeah.
The other expense is a transfer tax.
Yeah.
Transfer tax, the majority of that, I would say 90% of it goes to the state, and the county gets a little chunk of that too. Uh, some people call that a sales tax.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say over a decade ago, there was a big movement. Instead of having a transfer tax, put a sales tax on when you're selling a property. And the realtors, RPAC, at the state level and at the national level fought that. And it was a good thing. It was a good thing for our sellers because with sales tax, you don't get to claim that on your as a credit when it comes to filing your taxes.
Yeah.
But with expenses like the warranty deed and another expense might be getting a city inspection, which
Yes.
we mentioned earlier.
Correct.
That's usually anywhere from $200 to $300. You have to get the furnace inspected. That's usually $50 to $100, depending what company you call. They all pretty
Right.
much do the same job. Those are some of the expenses. Then there's the marketing fee.
Right.
Some people refer it to as a commission. It's like, I gotta pay a commission to sell my house. Yeah, we're realtors and we're
Right.
nice people, but we have bills to pay.
Absolutely.
We have kids
Yeah.
to raise. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's how we make our living. And some people say, oh, you're charging too much. You didn't spend enough time, marketing my house. Well, actually, we spend a lot of money marketing your house.
Right.
So many ways to market your house, and it's very costly. And the other thing, you're not just paying me as a
Yeah.
realtor, a professional, knowledgeable realtor, just for the time I spent selling your house.
Right,
You're paying
right.
me for the experience over the
Yes.
years and decades. Make sure that you don't fall into pitfalls.
Mhm.
There's a cost to that, and it comes under the professionalism and the knowledge. So
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the commission and what people charge or whatever. That's something that's always negotiable.
Always negotiable.
Negotiable.
Yes.
So yeah, there's no set commissions, but as a seller, you can always negotiate that. And like everything else, you get what you pay for. If you want me to market your house and make sure instead of 2 or 3 people walking through your house the first week, there's going to be 20 plus, and it's going to create a highest and best situation.
Yeah.
Where you're probably going to get more money than your house is worth, and we'll get to that in a second.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to lean on me and lean on us, all of the professional realtors in the area.
Okay. So here's an important one. Everyone knows someone who's a realtor. Everybody.
Yes.
Every family has 3 or 4 realtors.
Yes.
How do you choose a realtor?
That's a very good point.
It's a loaded question too.
It is a loaded question. You want to be respectful. I
Yeah.
just saw a post. It was funny, but not. And the post said something like, you want your nephew to sell your house. He
Sure.
sold one house last year, and he's trying to sell another one.
Yeah.
Or do you want somebody that, selling 40, 50, 60 houses a year,
Yes.
been around for a long, long time? I guess the message was, you need somebody who knows what they're doing. Now, your nephew could be a very, very intelligent person. I'm just not going to pick on nephews here. One of your relatives could be very, very intelligent, very, very capable of selling the house. God bless. We all started at one point or another. But I would probably interview as a seller. I'll
Yeah.
probably interview
Yeah.
a couple realtors. Very rarely, when I talk to a seller, they say, "Oh, Hussein Berry, you're the best. We're just gonna go with you blindly."
No.
I always
Yeah.
got. We have some amazing realtors that do a great job in this area, southeastern Michigan, and our good friends with Windsor too. You probably want to talk to more than one realtor. Do not, let me repeat, do not talk to 3 agents and go with the agent that gives you the highest price.
Or the lowest price, you mean?
The highest price. Whoa,
lowest commission.
Yeah. The highest price, lowest commission, something like that. They're gonna list your house. It's gonna be set on the market forever. You'll end up not in a good relationship with that realtor. You want somebody to come in and be honest with you. You know, the discussion I had at the dining room table this morning, I said, this is what you want, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, but this is what your house is going to sell for. It's probably going to sell for a little bit more because there's not much inventory out there. And I explained that to them. But yeah, make sure you're talking to somebody that's professional, honest, does a lot of work in the area where you live. Just because I do a lot of work in Dearborn Heights, or Nofila does a lot of work in the Tri-County area, doesn't mean she's a professional or I'm a professional maybe out in Pittsfield Township. So, yeah.
We can definitely make the sale, but it's always nice to find somebody that's familiar with your area and understands the market trends. Sometimes cities have a different value for every neighborhood, and you want someone that understands these different values. And back to the idea of, I want to support my nephew or my niece or my cousin because they just started in the business, and that's absolutely fine. But look at who is behind them. Look at their broker. Do they have a broker that's supporting them? Do they have somebody that has the history and the experience in the market that's going to hold their hand through the transaction so they can build up their experience? And if they don't, then you're in trouble. Always choose someone that's fully invested in the sale of your home. You can't hire, you can. I'm not going to say no, you do what you want. But I personally, if I wasn't a realtor, I wouldn't hire a part-time realtor. You're either invested or you're not. This is either your livelihood and you're going to put your all into it, or you're not. That's one thing I face a lot is, people tell me, well, I want to support my cousin, he's a pharmacist or he's a doctor or a teacher, and they want to do this part-time. As a seller, I don't want to wait for you until 5 o'clock so that you can fit me in between the time you leave your job and dinner so that you can give me some attention, or on the weekend. That's just my opinion. Sorry
to all the part-time realtors. I kept it a little bit cleaner.
But so we got to protect our clients,
honestly,
right?
Honestly, always go with somebody that's a professional, that's a full-time realtor, that will represent you. Okay. And we're gonna go to break in a couple minutes here, but we welcome your phone calls. Any question, all questions are on the table. We'll answer them to the best of our ability. Again, I want to take a chance to thank Cena Radio for giving us this opportunity to reach out to our audience. If you want to call in during the show, please call 313-769-6666. That's 313-769-6666. After the show, you're welcome to call Nofila and I. My number is 313-580-8007. Nofila's number 313-443-7443. And today's show is sponsored by Hussein Berry at Mortgage Connection. His number is at 313-910-0410. Mortgage Connection, thank you for the support. Hussein Berry, 313-910-0410. And honestly, I can say that Mortgage Connection closed the deal for me recently within 15 days. That's unheard of. Made me look good with the buyer, the seller, and the All right, we'll see you right after the quick break.
a beautiful business here in Dearborn. Della Coffee and Brunch House. One of my favorite. I know we have a lot of coffee houses in Dearborn. They're all amazing, but this is one of my favorites because they have the best brunch, and they're located on Carlisle in Dearborn. And the other business that, I want to give a sincere thank you to Al Absi Accounting and Tax Services. They are an enrolled agent in accounting and taxes, and they do immigration services. And the reason I want to give them a sincere thank you is this is my personally official 10th year in real estate, and Al Absi Accounting Services has been one incredible supporter. People will send us referrals, and our business is referral based. They'll send us referrals here and there because they love us and they trust us. But Askar Al Absi has been an incredible promoter of our business. You can call Al Absi Accounting Services at 313-429-9510, and they're located at 6470 Chase Road. And I also want to thank them for their trust in us, because for 10 years they've allowed us to be involved in their transactions and in their businesses. So thank you, Della Coffee and Brunch House, and thank you, Al Absi Accounting Services. Moving back to
Give me a chance
Go
here
ahead.
for 1 second, Nofila, please. Yeah, thank you to Al Absi Accounting and Della's. I was just at Della's this last week.
Yeah.
I love my coffee, so anybody out there want to buy me a coffee? I love my coffees
Maybe at
anytime.
Della's, huh?
Yeah, I was just joking about buying my coffee. I'll buy the coffee, but if you will, Della's is an amazing place, but so is the many coffee houses that we're blessed. I made a mistake when I was telling you about our sponsor. Muhammad Berry. Mr. Berry's phone number is 313-910-0401. 910-0410. We did get a caller, Nofila, when we were off the air,
Yes.
and he didn't want to call during the show. I guess he was being a little shy to ask for information. And I always welcome advice. And he asked that when I say the numbers, to say them a little bit slower. So if you want to call us during the show, do not hesitate. That number is for Cena Radio, 313-769-6666. 313-769-6666. I also made another mistake last week.
What'd you do last week?
Angela was mad at me. Angela Khatir, I gave out a phone number. I don't know where I got that phone number from. I thought it was on her website, but I guess, you know how when you go Google some company,
Right.
and some other company gets ahead of them, and I put
Right.
out a number. So for last week's show, if you have any question regarding autism or special education, Angela Khatir is a great clinical director. She's at IOA, that stands for individualized, that's a tongue twister, outcome for autism. Her phone number, she said you're welcome to call her cell phone number. She's like a consultant, advocate. Doesn't mean you have to hire her. She's like a wealth of information, and she's very generous with her time. Her phone number is 313-414-4169. Thank you for the caller to tell me to slow down when I'm giving out the numbers. Her number is 313-414-4169. Matter of fact, just yesterday, Nofila, I saw a post on Facebook, and I directed Angela, and Angela took care of business.
Yeah, Angela is a great advocate.
Yeah.
She's also the vice president of the Dearborn Special Education, a wonderful advocate for students throughout the county.
What I'd like to do, Nofila, talk a little about the market. I know you have a couple other questions you want to ask, but I want to talk about the market a little bit.
Go ahead.
Right now, currently, it's very easy to talk about the whole county or different parts, and we'll spend a lot of time. I'm going to concentrate just on Dearborn right now. Right now, currently, like 35 minutes ago, there was 169 listings in Dearborn. Okay, and 44 of those are leases.
Yeah.
And I know you got some questions for me on that, so I'll just hold off right there. Houses listed under 400,000, 138 of them. 400 to 600, 17 of them. Then once you get over that 600 mark in the Dearborn area, for whatever reason, I know the reason, but they're sitting on the market. And I've been seeing a lot of price reductions at the high-end homes in Dearborn. Correct. Matter of fact, total, the market is shifting a little bit right now. It's not what it used to be late June, early July. It started shifting a little bit. I've noticed probably almost half, not half, but almost half of the listings out there right now went through some kind of price reductions.
That's true.
So for me, they've seen it all the last 30 some years. The market always adjusts itself. Okay. And that's probably, we'll get to why there's so many leases, but it's not like it used to be 2, 3 weeks ago, which kind of a lot of buyers sit out on the sideline when they see this. They go in, they love a house, they fall in love with it, it's clean, it's exactly what they want, and within the school district that they want, and they present an offer, a good offer. I just went through that with one of my buyers. It broke my heart, and they get outbid. That's not happening anymore, but it is adjusting a little bit.
Yeah.
Take it away, Nofila.
All right. They get outbid by whom, though? That's my question. Why do we have so many lease listings on the market? What's the solution to that problem? Because less than 5 years ago, even in the last 2 years, people would call me for a lease, and there would be, in all the zip codes of Dearborn and Dearborn Heights, there would be maybe under 10 lease listings. We have an abundance of lease listings right now, and I feel that maybe there are people have started to move away just because of the prices. Leases are very expensive right now, and there's an abundance of leases, so tenants can be a little choosier in terms of finding a lease. So we have to maybe start revisiting the prices of leases.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can share with you what I just shared with one of my buyers. Like I said, it broke my heart because it's a great house for his family. Uh, what started happening, and this is post-COVID. We don't want to keep talking about COVID, but this is post-COVID.
Yeah.
A lot of people couldn't afford to buy a house,
Right.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing you can do about that.
Correct.
The market itself adjusts.
Yes.
It levels off one way or the other. So what's happening right now, and I'll get to that in a second, what happens with people that they're entitled to buy properties and lease them out. When they started seeing that their current houses that they're charging $1,400, and they can actually get away with raising the rent 100, 200. I've seen rent raise like almost 30%, just because the tenant was out of lease. Yeah. They were pretty much kicking out that tenant so they can raise the price. Again, I respect people's rights to their properties and what they do with it. But what happened with these investors, like, oh wow, I can get $2,000, I can get $2,400 for a house, right. Investment of a few $100,000. They came into the market and they came in strong. They came in with cash offers. So if a family's looking to buy a house at, let's say it's listed at $369, and they present the offer at $365 with a 20% mortgage, the landlords are coming in and offering maybe a few $1,000s overpriced to get in that house, because right. Guess what? They're going to rent it at a high rent. Correct. And they get a great return on their investment. Yeah. And that's part of it. Right. What can you do about that? We have a capitalistic economy here, yes, so there's nothing we can do about it, but it will adjust itself. And that's why you're seeing that right now. People, I actually have one that's getting ready to close. Family came in, it was a referral. I was looking for a house for her to lease for her and her family. She couldn't afford the rent I was giving her in the city that she was looking in. She ended up buying a house. Instead of paying $1,600 a month where she wanted to live, she's going to be a homeowner for the first time in her life, and her payment is going to be like $1,232.
So it's cheaper to buy.
For her, it was. Yeah. It wasn't. Let's be. So we have all the information. It wasn't where she wanted to live, right? But right. This will work for her temporarily.
She found a way.
Yeah. And Angela Haidar is blowing up my phone. I can't answer my phone when I'm on the air, Angela. Call 313-679-6666. We're waiting for your phone call. 769-6666.
All right, let's get back into the process of selling your home.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We hired a realtor.
Yes.
Excuse me. And we interviewed multiple realtors. We found the right one. Maybe it wasn't the one offering the lowest commission or the highest price on the house, but it was one that is a quality realtor, a professional that's been there for a long time.
Many out there.
Many realtors out there. Yes, of course. We prepared our house, we decluttered, and our realtor had an open house, and they're bringing us offers. What is a title company? What are next steps for the title company?
As soon as you have an offer, purchase agreement, fully executed means signed by all parties. You we send that purchase agreement to our title company, and they order what we call a title commitment. They check and see if there's any liens, back taxes, water bills, what have you. But that's instead of the seller asking that question at that point,
Right.
a true professional agent would give them an education on what that is
Yes.
early on in the
Yes.
process. But yeah, you order a title policy, and the title company will end up, and there's many. I have my favorite, but there's many title companies out there that will do a great job.
Okay, so as a seller or even a buyer, do I have a right to choose my own title company? I don't like your title company. I like you as a realtor, but I don't like your title company.
Yes, that's fine. I think once in this past 8 years, I've been working with this particular title company. Somebody said, you know what, I had a bad experience with them, and I want to go. Of course, as a seller, you're paying for that policy. You have
Yeah.
every right to choose a title company. Also, recently,
Yeah.
I mean, I would say maybe this past 8 years, 9 years, buyers, we started doing what we call split closings.
Right.
It could be a buyer with their own title company, and the buyer, yes, you can choose your own title company if you're not happy, or obviously if you have a good relationship with your real estate agent, you're going to ask for their recommendation. And it's not like a recommendation because this is my favorite title company. It's just part of like during the day, it's like I'm talking to the processor title company over 3 or 4 transactions
Right.
at the same time. Makes my job easier.
Yes. And I just want to put this out there too. Sometimes during a listing um, meeting or a listing agreement signing, your realtor might be affiliated with a title company. They're not just choosing this title company because it's somebody they've worked with and they enjoy working with them, but it might be a business relationship. And it's okay to say there's nothing
That's
wrong with
fine.
it,
Yeah, that's fine. It's
as long as
fully
that's
disclosed.
disclosed,
Yeah, of course.
right? So at your signing of your listing agreement,
Yeah.
your realtor is obligated to bring you an affiliated business agreement to let you know that if you're going to work with me, I would like for you to work with this title company. Watch out for that sheet of paper because if you sign it, you might not be able to choose a title company. So watch out for it and say, speak out if you're not comfortable with this title company and choose your own title company.
So you just reminded me, Nofila, that in real estate, when buying and selling a house, it's always about location, location,
Yeah.
location. I take it a step further. Disclose, disclose, disclose.
Exactly. Yes.
You avoid headaches. So, like, let's say I'm selling my son's house. I have to disclose to potential buyers that this is family. This is my
Yes.
son's house,
Yes.
and that should be right up front. Same thing. Like, let's say a buyer calls me and says, "Do you know a mortgage company that I can work with?" I always say, "Here's you can talk. You can call ABC Mortgage Company. You can call CDE Mortgage Company." And I've worked with this gentleman. By the way, I'm related to this gentleman. You need to disclose that so there's no headaches later on.
Correct. All right, so we're doing title work. Everything's clear. We're scheduling closing. Our buyer's clear to close. We did not ask for occupancy because we already moved out. So how do we prepare for closing as a seller?
Prepare for closing. What do you mean you did not ask?
So we're turning in keys at closing.
Okay.
We're not staying in the house after
Sure,
closing.
sure.
So what are next steps for us as a seller?
So you're probably gonna have you or yourself or your agent call the water department
Yeah.
to get a final water reading because there'll be usually it's $300 to $500 escrow to
Yeah.
cover the last bill. Is there a more direct question to find out?
So like some of the things that I would prepare a seller for, or we were just sellers recently, so let's just talk about that, right?
Yeah.
We just recently sold our house, so at closing we were already moved out.
Yes.
We ordered a final water bill.
Correct.
We called our mortgage company and asked for a payoff statement so that we can pay off our mortgage.
Yes.
But you're not done there with the mortgage company.
No. Make sure you follow up with
Yes.
With your escrow account.
Yeah.
Because your mortgage company's got, guess what? They got your old address, and they might mail things. They might mail you a check.
Yes.
They close down your escrow account, and there's thousands and thousands of dollars left in it because it was just before taxes were to be paid, and they mail you a check, and you forget about it.
Right.
And nobody ever thinks about it. Call your mortgage company, give them your forwarding address,
Yes.
and find out. Is it a couple $100 left in the escrow account? Is it $4,000 or $5,000? That's your money. You're
Yeah.
entitled to it.
And then your insurance company, your homeowner's insurance. Do not cancel your homeowner's insurance before closing. That house
Absolutely
is your
not.
responsibility until you sign and turn in keys. Cancel your homeowner's insurance. Schedule it to be canceled. I like to say the day after closing.
Yeah.
You never know. You
Yeah.
never know what happens. And then schedule your utilities to be shut off, your DTE, right? You're turning in
Sure.
keys.
Sure.
Make sure that your buyer gets a chance to put them in their name.
Yeah.
And give them a time frame. Say, you know what, mine is scheduled to be shut off in the next 48 hours. You need to make the switch now.
That's important, just to
Yeah.
keep it. Obviously, you've had a successful closing. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
The buyer goes to turn on their DTE, and DTE says, "Oh, by the way, the seller shut it off yesterday." Now all of a sudden, there's fees to reconnect it. So
Just
it's all about communication.
Yeah.
Courtesy, of course, but just a little bit about communication. I've had buyers and sellers exchange phone numbers.
Yes.
I've had sellers offer the buyer to come in after closing and tell them a bit about the house.
Right.
Right. That's a
you know,
great
and just
experience.
people have different personalities in the process of a sale, so be aware of that. Before you turn in keys, before closing, your buyer has a right to walk through the house.
Of course.
Make sure your house is swept clean. Make sure that anything and everything is out of the house.
Sure.
If there's anything you left in the house because you agreed to it, make sure it's there.
Sure.
Don't change light fixtures to a cheaper version just before closing. It happens. Believe it or not, it happens. Right? But anything that was attached to the house needs to remain attached to the house.
Yes.
Because once you turn in keys, you do not have a right to go back and say, "Oh, I forgot a shovel in the garage." It's not your house anymore. It's not your shovel anymore. Move on. And then the last thing you want to do after you've done all of these things is go to City Hall. If you were living in this house and you were claiming a homestead exemption on that house, meaning that you're the occupier of the home, make sure you rescind that homestead exemption. A good realtor will go do it for you. Make sure it's done. Because if you're buying a house right after you just sold your house, you want to be able to claim the new house. And if your buyer of your home doesn't claim the home, the city's going to take a minute to realize that you no longer own this house and that homestead exemption is in your name and you just recorded a new homestead exemption. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. It causes a little bit of a headache down the line.
Sure.
So, and then you turn in your keys.
Yes.
Now, let's say we did ask for occupancy. I sold my house. I'm staying 30 days after closing.
Yes.
What do I do there?
Yes, let's define occupancy. Occupancy is after you close, the seller is going to stay in the house. So you become the owner of the house, and technically the old seller becomes a tenant in the house. So what that means is they're going to be staying there 30 days after, 15 days, and most of the time there's a charge per night. I always say, so people can ring you stay, you pay. So that very first night, the seller's paying you X amount of dollars for occupancy. Then, 30 days go by. Let's say 28 days later, seller's moved out, whatever, they contact their agent and they let you know that the keys are ready at the office, come pick them up. So that's it happens. It's normal.
It does,
Yeah.
and it's very normal.
Yeah.
But then you also have to be careful. You're not ordering final water bill the day of closing.
Correct.
You're ordering final water bill a few days before you turn in keys. And you're doing all of the things that we mentioned, but 30 days later.
Sure.
And you still should, sweep the house clean, make sure there's nothing left behind because it's no longer your house.
Who we didn't acknowledge today, Nofila, on today's show? Our neighbors in Windsor.
Oh,
so
yeah,
this is definitely this was a good show. I think we're gonna have to revisit this because I think there's more information that you want to get out and I want to get out. But in Windsor, I gave some stats regarding Dearborn. But in Windsor, I've mentioned Kate's name a couple of times on our show, Kate Saleh from Manor Realty. Her phone number is 519-890-9026, 519-890-9026. You can email her at sellwithkate, Kate, @hotmail.com. Thank you for all you do, Kate. Maybe one day we're going to have to invite you to a show and maybe enjoy lunch afterwards.
I feel like there is so much more to say about selling your home.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll follow up some more in a different episode about it. We're not done. But in the meantime, if you have questions or you're ready to sell now, give us a call. Hussein's number is 313-580-8007. My number is 313-443-7443. And if you're in the thinking process of selling your home, you're not ready to sell yet, it's okay. Give us a call. We'll come and look. I've had clients who want to make a huge transition in their life. They're just not ready now. They call us, we walk through, we give them our thoughts on how to prepare the house. And sometimes it takes 3 or 4 months to prepare the house. And sometimes it takes a whole year for them to be ready to sell the house. And then, we stay connected throughout that year, and then they call us when they're ready. So it's never too early to start planning, even if you're not ready. So give us a call. We'll come and walk through and give you our thoughts. We are nearing the end of our show. Do you have any last minute things to say?
No, thank you for our listeners out there. This was another great show with You Need to Know with Hussein and Nofila. You have our phone numbers. You know how to get a hold of us. If you need to, we welcome all phone calls. Okay. Have a great weekend and hope to see you at homecoming.
And we're going to leave you off with a song, للراحل زياد الرحباني. He will be missed. بلا ولا شي.